the other young men.
Only at age 30 did Aristodemus reach the last stage of Spartan education. He was now an equal. For the rest of his life, an equal devoted himself to affairs of state and the art of war. He could choose to live with his family if he had one, but he could not farm or trade. Such work was left to others. The result, an army that could outdrill, outmarch, and outfight any other. Thermopylae means gates of heat. Here, where the mountains reared up from the shore, a hot sulfur spring flowed. In time, the sea would ebb and expose a plain nearly a mile across. In the days of Aristodemus, Thermopylae was a narrow pass, wide enough for only a single cart. Through this bottleneck, Xerxes would have to march. It was blocked by the Spartans. Xerxes sent out a spy. All he discovered was the Spartans' scorn for their enemy and for death. They stood in the open, conspicuous in their red cloaks and confident in their arms.
There he saw some of the men at exercise and others combing their hair. Marveling at the sight, he rode back, unmolested, none pursuing him or even paying him any attention. When Xerxes heard, he could not comprehend the truth, that the Spartans were preparing to the best of their power to kill or be killed. What they were doing seemed laughable.
Xerxes commanded a huge army, 200,000 strong. Such a host, he imagined, would sweep the Greeks aside. He didn't know the lay of the land or the way of the Spartans. They could not only outdrill and outmarch their foes, they could outmaneuver them. Spartans fought in platoons of 24 men called sworn bands. Small, mobile, and fiercely loyal. Aristodemus would serve in the same band throughout his career. At 55, he would retire, and a new man would take his place. For this family of comrades, each man was sworn to fight and die. Girding for battle, Aristodemus armored his torso with a bronze cuirass. His shins were guarded by bronze greaves. Strapped to his waist, an iron sword with a curved blade, wider near the tip, where it pierced flesh. Their heads were better protected than most warriors by a crested bronze helmet that exposed only the eyes. Beneath it, their long hair spilled out, a privilege of veterans and a sign of prowess. Deployed in the first rank of the phalanx, Aristodemus lifted his short spear over his shoulder, locked shields with his comrades, and advanced.
Dire will be the din when both sides clash rounded shield against rounded shield, and awful shrieks as they fall upon one another, piercing men's breasts with the spear. And not a bit will they draw back from the pounding of the missiles. Nay, despite the battering of great hurlstones, the helmets shall abide the rattle of war unbowed.
In the narrow pass of Thermopylae, the Persians lost their great advantage in numbers. Fighting in shifts, thrusting their spears from behind their wall of shields, the Greeks repelled assault after assault. Enraged, Xerxes sent in his elite infantry, the Immortals. The Spartan king Leonidas ordered the unthinkable: retreat. The Persians swarmed into the pass and the trap. At a signal, the Spartans turned. Against the spears of the Spartan phalanx, the Immortals proved as weak as their flesh. For 2 days, the huge Persian army was held at bay. Then its luck turned. A farmer revealed a path through the mountains. Part of Xerxes' army poured through it and emerged behind the Greeks. The position of Leonidas was now hopeless. He ordered his Greek allies to retreat. With his 300 Spartans, he would stand at Thermopylae against the entire Persian army and hold them off for as long as possible. In admiration, 700 troops of the city-state Thespiae stayed to fight alongside the Spartans. After the second day of battle, Aristodemus and another Spartan, Eurytus, had taken ill. Leonidas had ordered them to rest, but now the Persians were closing in.
Eurytus called for his armor and put it on. But Aristodemus's heart failed him, and he stayed behind. They now met their enemies outside the pass, and many of the barbarians were slain. Many were thrust into the sea and there drowned, and more by far were trodden down bodily by each other, none regarding who it was that perished. For inasmuch as the Greeks knew that they must die by the hands of those who came around the mountain, they put forth the very utmost of their strength against the barbarians in their recklessness and frenzy.
In the thick of battle, King Leonidas fell. The fiercest fighting now took place for his body. Their spears and their ranks at last broken, the Greeks withdrew to a hill for a final stand.
In that place they defended themselves with their swords, as many as still had such, and with their fists and teeth, till the barbarians overwhelmed them with missiles. Thus did the men of Sparta and Thespiae bear themselves.
All but 2 of the Spartans lay slain. The poet Simonides composed an epitaph for the Spartan